Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. In terms of cultivation speed, the disciples who possessed the Great Void Seed were superior to those in the Golden Lotus domain and the Red Lotus domain. Even Duanmu Shang, whose transformation was the weakest, was already trying to sprout the ninth leaf. Nevertheless, their speed was far slower compared to those in the Black Lotus domain. Zhenghai and Yuan'er were top-notch experts in the Golden Lotus domain but were slightly weaker in the Red Lotus domain due to the existence of 10-leaf experts. Great Void Seeds, the most crucial part of the memory crystal, had been destroyed by Yizhen. What exactly was the Great Void Seed? Based on his knowledge and experience, Zhou was certain even the greatest alchemist would not be able to create such a miraculous pill. From what he could gather from the memory crystal, Ji Tiandao had gone to the unknown place. The unknown place seemed to be perpetually overcast, it was rather dark so he could not see much. Ji Tiandao's cultivation base was not very high back then, he must have used some tricks to obtain the Great Void Seed. Otherwise, he would not have been able to obtain such precious things under the noses of so many thousand realms whirling experts. Naturally, there was a possibility that the Great Void Seeds were trash, and no one in Great Void paid attention to them. However, the possibility of it was low. A treasure that could increase one's aptitude for cultivation, how could it be considered trash? Those people were clearly capable of searching for Great Void Seeds. This matter, if it's possible to hide it, then it's best to hide it. Zhou planned to disclose this matter to his disciple initially, but he dismissed the idea later. At this moment, he looked at Duanmu Shang and called out, "Old Third." Clank. The Overlord spear fell to the ground. "Master, you're calling me?" Duanmu Shang hurriedly picked the Overlord spear up, stunned. "How's the progress of your cultivation?" Zhou asked. It was normal for a master to ask about his disciple's cultivation. Naturally, it was frowned upon for outsiders to ask one about one's cultivation. Duanmu Shang scratched his head and said embarrassedly, "Master, I have 8 leaves." Nevertheless, Zhou was very satisfied. He was very familiar with Duanmu Shang's aptitude and talent for cultivation. Among all his disciples, Duanmu Shang's talent and aptitude were the lowest. After cultivating diligently for a long time, it was not easy for him to reach the 8-leaf stage. It was to be expected for his first and second disciple to sprout the 9th leaf. They had been stuck at the 8-leaf stage for years, and when the shackles were broken, they hurriedly seized the chance to sprout their 9th leaves. It would not be surprising even if they sprouted the 10th leaf. For this reason, he did not bother his first and second disciple much about their cultivation progress. After a moment, Zhou shifted his gaze away from Duanmu Shang and called out, "Old Fourth." Woof. 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 Xiongqi ran over and lay in front of Zhou like a domesticated dog. Ming Shirin. This dog really knew how to act. Zhou sized up Xiongqi. He did not expect Xiongqi would grow to double its size so quickly. If the sky shuttle was not big enough, it would have to fly on its own. Ming Shirin walked to his master. "Master. What's your cultivation base?" Ming Shirin said with a smile, "I'm at the 9-leaf stage." "Are you hiding your strength?" Ming Shirin hurriedly denied his master's words. "I'm not hiding anything. I've always been very honest. The sun and the moon can be my witnesses." Following that, Zhou no longer paid attention to Ming Shirin. He turned to look at Duanmu Shang's Overlord spear and asked, "You didn't let the Sky Research Court reforge your weapon?" Duanmu Shang held his Overlord spear and continued wiping it as he replied, "I couldn't bear to have it reforged. Moreover, the forging materials are really high. I think it's good as it is now." Zhou thought about his disciples' weapons. Yuan'er's weapon was still in the Sky Research Court, Duanmu Shang and Zhao Yu's weapons were at the Heaven grade, Kong had 2 weapons, the 9-string zither and the Lantian jade flute. She was also his only disciple to possess a flood-grade weapon. When they arrived in the capital, he would speak to his disciples about their weapons, or perhaps, he would just directly let the Sky Research Court reforge their weapons. Following that, he shifted his attention to Yuan'er. Old second. Yu Shangrong turned around to look at his master. Lu Zhou asked, how's the reforging of the longevity sword coming along? Master, you once said the Sky Research Court is filled with many talented people. Wang Dachui is confident, and he doesn't seem like a braggart. He said he'll be done in 3 months, Yu Shangrong replied. That's good to Lu Zhou nodded. Jiang Aijian said enviously, Mr. Second, you're really lucky. Your sword is jumping from the heaven grade directly to the flood grade. I wonder when I'll be able to own a flood grade sword. As he spoke, he caressed Dragon Song. That's not necessarily true, Yu Shangrong said with a smile, it's incredibly difficult to forge a flood grade weapon. Although we have the fire spirit stones, it'd depend on luck as well. Everyone nodded in agreement. The 4 elders of the evil sky pavilion suddenly felt their weapons were not very good at all. They thought about the floodgrade 9-string zither that the Sky Research Court created that was said to be the most perfect weapon ever created. Why was it called the most perfect weapon? Lu Zhou turned his head to look at Conk. She was still standing in the wind, lost in her thoughts. He called out, Conk. Conk turned around. Master. You've just emerged from your closed-door cultivation, so you haven't had a chance to properly greet your other fellow disciples and the elders, Lu Zhou said. Despite her cultivation base and background, Conk was the youngest and newest disciple, after all. Conk obediently greeted the members of the Evil Sky Pavilion. Greetings, senior brothers. Greetings to the 4 elders. Conk bowed. Everyone returned the greeting. Meanwhile, Wuya looked at his youngest junior sister with a complicated expression on his face. He recalled the poem and the name he had gleaned from that poem before he said, Luo Shirin? 7th senior brother, Conk responded with a faint smile on her face. I've studied Luo Xian's notes countless times, and there are contradictions in them. I was certain there was no Luo Shirin in the world. Who knew I'd only guessed half of it right? At this moment, Zhenghai chimed in, well, you didn't guess wrong either. I'll tell you the specifics once we reach the capital. Sit tight, I'm going to speed up. The sky shuttle entered the capital in the evening. The lights were bright. Even the formations and inscriptions in all directions shone brightly like lamps. Swoosh. 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 At this moment, dozens of armored soldiers flew up and blocked the sky shuttle's path. Upon seeing this, the 4 Grand Dukes flew out of the sky shuttle and showed their identity tokens to the soldiers. The expressions of the armored soldiers changed drastically. All of them bowed in unison. My apologies for failing to recognize Mount Tai. I respectfully welcome Grand Dukes. There was no need for Lu Zhou and the others to make a move at all. After the 4 Grand Dukes returned to the Sky Shuttle, Wang Yun, the Grand Duke of Xin, said, Senior Lu, Your Majesty, why don't you come and live in my humble abode? Since he was allowed to return to the capital, Wang Yun knew it meant that the old man decided to let him live. Moreover, he seemed to have grasped the way that the old man did things, that was to say the old man liked to go with the flow. It was just as he had heard, the old man appreciated people who understood the situation, someone who knew when to retreat and advance. He had always been more observant compared to the other 3 Grand Dukes. Therefore, he had been silently reminding himself and warning himself not to make a mistake. For now, it proved that he had done the right thing. Lu Zhou did not respond. Instead, Li Yunzheng said, Return to the palace. Understood, Wang Yun said without any hesitation. The skew shuttle continued to fly toward the royal palace under the lead of the 4 Grand Dukes. When the sky shuttle landed in the royal palace, night had already fallen. After the necessary arrangements were made for the members of the Evil Sky Pavilion, Wuya and Li Yunzheng made their way to the preservation hall to look for Lu Zhou. Before Wuya spoke, Li Yunzheng said, Grandmaster, I've already issued an imperial edict. I've summoned all the civil and military officials, the 8 great generals of the 10 paths, and the envoy to court the day after tomorrow, in the morning. All right, Lu Zhou replied curtly. Then I'll take my leave now, Grandmaster. In comparison to himself, Li Yunjing always felt that his Grandmaster was more like the Emperor. In the end, Si Wuya and Li Yunzheng did not do anything in the preservation hall. After this brief exchange, the duo turned around and left. Si Wuya could tell that something was weighing on Li Yunzheng, so he asked, "Are you afraid Master will take your throne? You should know if he wants your throne, you would have died a long time ago. It would have been so much easier to kill you instead of going around in such a big circle to help you before killing you." Li Yunzheng shuddered upon hearing Si Wuya's words. He hurriedly said, "Thank you for your reminder, teacher. There are many things that aren't as simple as you think they are," Si Wuya said. Li Yunzheng felt guilty for thinking such a thing. After a moment, he asked, "Master, are you confident about the day after tomorrow?" Si Wuya smiled and asked, "Have you forgotten what I said? The weak have no right to speak." Li Yunzheng nodded. "However, there's one person among the civil and military officials who's difficult to deal with." Father personally bestowed the position of Prime Minister Zhang Yuan'er when he was still in power. The Zhang family had produced 5 generals. 100 years ago, in order to protect Great Tang, they died one after another. All of Great Tang's 8 great generals have connections with the Zhang family. He's not someone who's afraid of death. If he decides to fight to the death, what should we do? If we kill him, we'll definitely lose the hearts of the people, Li Yunzheng said worriedly. "You are the emperor," Si Wuya said, emphasizing each word. After that, he left with his hands on his back, leaving the young Li Yunzheng standing in the courtyard outside of the preservation hall. Li Yunzheng looked as though he was lost in his thoughts as he stared at the starry night sky. The familiar smell of the night air was not present at this time. Instead, the metallic smell of blood permeated the night air as though heralding the bloody storm that was coming. The next morning, Zhou did not leave the preservation hall. He stayed in and cultivated. Although he had entered the mystic sky realm, he still needed to cultivate to continue raising his cultivation base. This way, the pressure would not be so heavy when he activated his birth charts in the future. Unfortunately, not much was known about the mystic sky realm. Zhou could only advance by blindly feeling his way around. Based on what he had gathered, the Black Lotus domain had 36 birth charts. They had more complete information and a better cultivation system. He had destroyed one of Yiyao's birth charts previously. If Yiyao returned and reported this matter, what if 1,000 realms whirling expert with a higher cultivation base appeared? He felt like he had created trouble for himself. He felt more at ease when he recalled he now possessed the rudimentary enhanced deadly strike card. Hopefully, there would not be too fierce a character who appeared in the Red Lotus domain. If there was an expert who had activated 36 birth charts, he would be at the mercy of others. In the afternoon, Zhou continued to cultivate in the preservation hall. At this moment, Mingxian hurried into the hall and said, "Master, something has happened." Zhou opened his eyes and asked, "What's the matter?" Originally, Li Yunzheng, that little emperor, had issued an imperial edict to summon all the civil and military officials tomorrow. Unexpectedly, all the civil and military officials came to the palace today. 7th junior brother and the little emperor have already gone to the political announcement hall, Mingxian replied. "Your 7th junior brother should be able to handle this matter," Zhou said. "That's what I think as well, but something feels amiss to me," Mingxian continued to say. "This morning, I took the opportunity to go out for a stroll. There are thousands of commoners surrounding the royal palace. Moreover, although Xiaohosheng isn't in the capital, he has mobilized 100,000 royal guards." Zhou frowned slightly. "I'm not doubting 7th junior brother's ability. However, Xiaohosheng and the 8 generals could stand on equal footing with Yu Qinshu. How could they not have some skills? If they fight, Master, you'll still have to make a move," Mingxian explained. "They're just a pack of rats, they dare to appear?" Zhou was not like his past self. If he only had his 10 leaves, perhaps, he would pay more attention to Xiaohosheng. In the end, he said, "However, you have a point. Come with me." Understood. The pair of master and disciple left the preservation hall. When they walked out of the hall, they saw Jiang Aijian running around with Dragonsong in his arms. Mingxian unceremoniously grabbed "Hey, little bastard, where are you going? Come with us to the political announcement hall." Zhenghai smiled sheepishly as he said, "No, no, no. Mr. Fourth, there are too many people there. I'm afraid they might be captivated by my handsome appearance." Zhou looked at Zhenghai and said, "Come with us." Zhenghai. Mingxian hooked his arm around Zhenghai's shoulders before he said with a smile, "You're too cowardly. Don't be afraid. I'll ask my dog to protect you." Zhenghai. When the trio was near the political announcement hall, but they saw many palace experts hovering in the air. There were many people on the ground as well, thousands of civilians could be seen lining up neatly in a row. Zhou looked at them suspiciously. How can ordinary civilians enter the palace? This is obviously orchestrated by some people? At this moment, Wang Yun suddenly appeared. "Senior Lu. I was just about to invite you over. Where's Li Yunzheng?" Zhou asked. "His Majesty and Mr. Seventh are in the main hall. This way please." Zhou, Mingxian, and Zhenghai followed Wang Yun to the political announcement hall. When they were outside of the hall, they saw a crowd outside of the hall. The throne was placed at the top of the steps in front of the political announcement hall, and there was a chair on each side of the throne. Zhou did not expect such a big turnout. He thought only the civil and military officials and the 8 great generals would show up. When Zhou walked over, the members of the Evil Sky Pavilion were about to bow when he waved his hand, indicating for them to continue. Li Yunzheng was dressed in his dragon robe. At this moment, he sat on the throne at the top of the steps, overlooking everyone. Meanwhile, Wuya stood a step lower than the throne. His expression was calm, and his back was straight. His bearing was extraordinary. Zhou nodded. As expected of Old Seventh, his knowledge, courage, and bearing aren't something Old Eighth is able to replicate. Zhou continued to walk forward toward the front of the hall. At this moment, there were many eunuchs and palace maids standing around Li Yunzheng. Nevertheless, with his keen eyes, he quickly discovered Zhou's presence. He wanted to get up, but Zhou raised his hand, indicating that he should not move. Therefore, he continued to sit with his back upright on the throne. Zhou did not stand on ceremony and walked straight to the chair on the left. The person sitting on the chair to the left of the throne was the current Grand Tutor, Zhengping. When he saw an old man walking to the chair on the left without no one obstructing his way, he was going to rebuke the old man. However, before he could do so, the old man waved his hand, and he found himself standing up without meaning to do so. The 2 Grand Dukes standing to the right of Li Yunzheng looked at Zhengping meaningfully. Realization dawned on him, and he quickly took a step back and stood respectfully at the side. Zhou slowly sat down. He really had no intention of intervening, he was only here to watch a show. Naturally, he would not intervene if it was not necessary. Just like Mingxian had pointed out, he had also come to keep an eye on things and to prevent accidents. As for other matters, he was too lazy to care about them. Although Zhou's entrance was rather low profile, it did not escape the attention of the civil and military officials at the bottom of the steps, the thousands of civilians on the ground, and the experts hovering in the air. The entire place fell silent as they looked at the old man who suddenly appeared and took a seat next to the little emperor. Wuya turned around and saw his master had arrived. He smiled, relieved. Then, when he made a move to bow, his master waved his hand and said, "Continue." "Understood." Wuya looked to the front at an old man dressed in a white linen robe. "Lord Zheng, please continue." At this moment, the Grand Tutor, Zhengping, took another step back, making way for Wang Yun. Wang Yun came to Zhou's side and bent his body as he whispered to Zhou, "That's Zhang Yuan'er. He usually stays at home, enjoying his old age. The Zhang family has 5 martyrs who were conferred the titles of Great General by the late emperor. They're well liked by the people." Zhou turned to look at Wang Yun and said, "You're quite tactful. Very good. Many thanks for your praise, Senior Lu. Then, my son Wang Yun stammered. "I can let him go, but it's best if you know your place," Zhou said. Senior Lu, don't worry. His Majesty has the full support of the Wang family. Wang Yun said. Then, he turned to Gui Zhengping and said, Lord Gua, what do you say? Yes, of course. Great Tang had 5 Grand Dukes, including the now dead Chuan, the Grand Duke of Fu. Each of them held power, and their 5 families were the most powerful families in the capital. Even if Gui Zhengping was the Grand Tutor, it was nothing more than an empty title in front of the Grand Dukes of Great Tang. After Wang Yun straightened his body, he pulled Gui Zhengping to the side before he said with a frown, Lord Gua, are you trying to get me killed? I apologize. Fear still lingered in Gui Zhengping's heart at this moment. This old gentleman, is he the mighty Thousand Realms whirling expert? What do you think? Wang Yun said. Gui Zhengping's hair stood on end, and chills ran up his spine. His eyes widened in horror as he looked at Wang Yun. Wang Yun said solemnly, I've already told you to leave the chair empty. After this, just stay silent and watch the show. Don't do anything unnecessary. I'll listen to Lord Wang, Gui Zhengping said as he wiped the sweat off his face. It's not just you, the other 3 Grand Dukes and I had discussed the matter the entire night, we'll be doing the same. As for the others, we can only leave it up to their fates, Wang Yun said. Gui Zhengping frowned slightly as he looked at the civil and military officials at the bottom of the steps before he said, you have my gratitude. Meanwhile, everyone's attention was on Zhang Yuan'er, who was dressed in a mourning robe. Si Wuya still looked at Zhang Yuan'er calmly. Zhang Yuan'er kneeled on the ground and said, Your Majesty, please think twice. Our Zhang family is full of heroes and martyrs. We're willing to go through fire and water for Great Tang. Si Wuya said, Lord Zhang, please think twice. I can understand you pleading on behalf of the Zhang family. However, for what reasons are you pleading on behalf of the 8 great generals? Zhang Yuan'er said, undeterred, the 8 great generals and the Zhang family are like a family. How can I watch them being wronged and sent to prison? Please think twice, Your Majesty. As soon as Zhang Yuan'er finished speaking, the thousands of civilians standing at the back fell to their knees in unison and said, Your Majesty, please reconsider. Si Wuya was rather taken aback by this response. It was clear that this resistance had been planned beforehand. They had all entered the palace this afternoon in hopes of catching him off guard and also inciting the commoners. Currently, rumors were circulating in the capital that the little emperor wanted to make an example out of the heroes and the civil and military officials. Even Zhang Yuan'er, whose family was filled with heroes and martyrs, had taken the lead to speak up. It was only natural that the public opinion was almost one-sided. Si Wuya knew the person in front of him was not afraid of death. He said in a low voice, Lord Zhang, you're intentionally trying to pressure His Majesty.